Okay, amazing. So, hi everyone. Really good to be with you. Thanks for everyone who's just joined us. My name is Mo. I'm one of the co-founders of the company. As mentioned, today is a day about celebrating our community. Technically speaking, it's our 6-year anniversary, and it's been quite a journey. And we really believe that as a company, it would be impossible to be where we're at today without having this amazing community of people who are backing us. It's not just companies. We fundamentally think it's people who are driving the industry forward and who are pushing for change and who are building the problems for the solutions that they have. And I'm really excited to have all of them with us today, many of our community members with us today, to share their knowledge, to share their lessons learned, to share their experience with all of us. Um, we'll be introducing everyone in more detail shortly, but to just give you a bit of a flavor for what the day is going to be like, initially you're going to hear just a little bit from me. As I said, this day really isn't about me or about us. Specifically, it is about our community first and foremost. I'm just going to introduce you quickly to what we do and what our goals for the day are. We're then going to start the day with a talk from Colin and Thomas from Kier, who are going to be talking about how they're standardizing information management and information delivery processes across the group. We're going to be hearing from Glenn Carpigiani and Jerry from McLovin and Harvey about how they've gone back to basics and how they're working on getting that right in order to ensure successful delivery. We're going to then have the Builders Showcase. The Builders Showcase, I think, is really arguably the essence of what Morta is about. We think in the industry, one of the things that we think is most exciting about Morta is the fact that when a problem comes up, when there's something new to be tracked, people can build the tracker that they need. They can solve the problems that they need by building the solutions for them, rather than specking out solutions and so on and so forth. And I'm really excited today to have Megan and Veronique from XT House. We're going to have Helen Lohar from Bouygues UK, and we're going to have William Bakers-Jones from Babcock International, who are going to be showcasing some of what they built for us. And we think they're some of the most unique use cases we've seen. We're then going to have 3 panels. The first is going to be about standardization and digital transformation. The second is going to be about deliverable planning, tracking, and reviewing. And then the third is going to be about open BIM, data requirements, IDS, and assurance. And then towards the end, we're going to wrap up. I'm going to be joined by my co-founder, Matthew Morrison, who's going to be giving you an update on the product and what we've done over the last year. And we're just going to reflect together on the day, and that I'm sure is going to be a great and super exciting day. So with that in mind, what I'll do is I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview for those of you who are joining us for the first time. I even think for our community itself, it's always good to update how we see the company and what it does. Really, fundamentally, we think the goal of the company is to help you achieve real-time visibility by replacing spreadsheets with connected data hubs. There are all kinds of challenges that we speak about as an industry, from productivity to building safety, to handover, to carbon, to resource use, but also fundamentally to accountability and trust. And we think these are some of the biggest problems that the industry is. Many put it as they're the core challenges that the industry faces today. But fundamentally, we think these are all symptoms of the problem. We think that while obviously they are challenges in their own right, they are symptoms of the core challenge that we have as an industry. And the way we see it is today, the industry exists in silos. We're fundamentally relying on spreadsheets to spreadsheet-based tracking, which ultimately hampers visibility and reduces productivity. But it also means that we're all working in different silos, and it makes it much harder for all of us to trust the data that's coming out of different places. And it means that we're continuously reproducing the same information in different ways, making it difficult to have consistency over an understanding of where a project or a process is at. And it means that we're fundamentally relying on many manual processes, which increase risks within these projects. Obviously, I think a lot of the people here, pretty much every single person has experienced a spreadsheet and the pains that come with updating a tracker. And a lot of the initially in our journey, we focused a lot on the time and the pain effectively that comes with spreadsheets. But where we're at now, we think what's really important is to start thinking about what's the big picture? Like, why is all of this really, really important? And we think fundamentally it comes down to the fact that mistakes on a 400 million pound project can wipe out the contractor's margins where things go wrong. And fundamentally, things go wrong when we don't have visibility that projects are starting or processes are starting to go off track. So we can debate the numbers, but on an order of magnitude, if you take a 400 million pound project that's 4 years, gets delayed by 12 months, that can result in additional overheads, that can result in delayed payments and penalties, that can result in disputes and legal, and then that can result in rework that could have had rework as well. And that ends up costing a very large number. Now, again, we can debate the exact numbers, but the point being, when things go wrong in the industry, they go really, really wrong. And when they go really, really wrong, they can massively impact the contractors and the projects that we're on today. And fundamentally, we think that the way that gets prevented is by gaining visibility. And gaining visibility comes down to connecting trackers, systems, and teams. And we think Morta has a fundamental role to play in that. So we think supply chain members, we think internal teams should all work off a single view and single sources of truth, where data is input and data is viewed in order to understand performance. Now, I always say this, I am not the first person in the world to say Excel comes with its challenges. But what usually happens is people will present an Excel workbook as a software solution that has been hard-coded to do things in a very specific way. We think one of Morta's unique features and most important features is the fact that it's a highly customizable solution. You want to add a column, you can add a column. You want to add a new tracker, you can add that new tracker. You want to add a document, you can add that document. Gone are the days where you have to fit into the workflows that have been mandated for you by your software vendor. You need something that flexes with you as you learn and as your needs evolve and as new challenges arise. And that's exactly what we're trying to unlock for you. Now, the second key thing is we think it's very important for you to be able to reuse data that you already have. So we work with many companies that will be using solutions like Viewpoint, Autodesk Construction Cloud, Asite, Aconex, and Revisto, and many, many others. And fundamentally, you're already sitting on all of this data. We don't think that you should have to rekey this data, that you should have to re-enter it. And we think you should be able to reuse it in order to understand where your projects are at. And that's why we make it very, very easy for people to integrate with other software solutions. Now, fundamentally, what it comes down to is the teams that are using Morta and the organizations that use Morta use it to increase productivity and reduce their risk. So whether it comes down to having the confidence that all of the checks are being done that need to be done, and as a result, risk and compliance are better, whether it's saving at least a day a week from the administrative workflows that people would have had to do. We're going to be hearing, I think, a lot about consistency and standardization today. I think it's going to be one of the biggest themes, because you'll hear from many of the speakers that that's what unlocks reduced risk. That's what unlocks saving time. And that's what unlocks visibility and insight. And that's exactly the kind of thing that's very, very hard to achieve when people are relying on spreadsheets that anyone can make changes to. Fundamentally, I've already talked a lot about visibility, but we think what this unlocks to executives, what this unlocks to projects, generally speaking, is an understanding of performance. It's knowing where things are at, and it's being able to proactively intervene when things are starting to go wrong. And AI and other emerging technologies as part of Industry 4.0 are starting to become a bigger and bigger thing. And fundamentally, if we're stuck in spreadsheets, we're never going to realize the vision of Industry 4.0, or not to its full potential. So we're starting to see that many of the companies and teams that are adopting us see us as a key enabler for AI and many of these technologies. Now, it's been a long 6 years. We've had to do a lot of work. We've had to find partners along the way that have bought into to our journey. You're going to be hearing from a lot of them today, and I'm really excited to have them share their insights with you. But fundamentally, today we're being used in 9 different countries. We have over 1,000. We have, as of yesterday, 1,289 organizations collaborating through the platform and contributing their data to contractors and so on and so forth, and reporting on the platform. You can see that the number of hubs is growing exponentially. A hub is basically a project that's created on Morta, or a workspace that's created on Morta, and you can see that that number is going exponentially. And I think that's ultimately a testament to where Morta is at today. Now, with that in mind, fundamentally, again, everyone who's watching us today, we view you as part of the extended community. But there have been many people, and we're really, really thankful to have you with us and for you to be taking time from your day on a Monday to join and to celebrate this day with us. But fundamentally, we wouldn't be here and where we are today without this community of professionals who are building the built environment's digital future today. And I emphasize the word building because everyone here isn't just talking about these things. We are going to hear lessons learned, and they are going to share their insights with us today. But they are the people who are building this, and they are making these things happen on the ground, rather than hoping for a solution in a year or 2 years or in 5 years down the line. So I'm really, really excited, and I'm really grateful to be on this journey with everyone who's with us today. As I mentioned, we're going to have talks initially. We're then going to have the Builders Showcase, and then we're going to have panels from a lot of our community members, and I'm really, really excited for these.